Morning, everybody. So this morning I'm wearing blue, and the reason I'm wearing blue is because I'm going to be talking about a living, but a very specific part of living. And specifically, you would have seen on some of the videos that I've done recently that there's been a bit of a change of tone in me. And in one of the videos, you would have heard me talk about feeling frazzled. And this has been something that's been going on for about 6 weeks or so, 7 weeks, and I haven't really been able to quite put my finger on it until last night, I think. And an article that my wife put under my nose, and I thought, yes, that is what's going on. So I wanted to tell you about it and share the article with you. But before we talk about that, let's just talk about the colours briefly so we know what we're talking about. So we've got the 3 green behaviours: thinking, communicating and improving. Those are the essence of leading, and they are the things, if you have them in your diary in the right proportion, will take you, your people and your organisation upwards, make things better. Then there's amber behaviour, just 2 of those: monitoring and directing. They're the essence of managing. And those are the things that will stop things from going backwards, stop you from dropping balls, manage risk. Then there's red, doing, and brown, floating. Now, those are the things, if you have them in your diary too much, could take you, your people, and your organisation backwards, make things worse. But then there's blue, and blue is about living. That's about your physical, mental, and spiritual or emotional well-being. And that's where you get your recharge. Now, you'll have seen on some of my videos, as I said, that I've been feeling a bit frazzled, was the word I used. Probably over the last 6 weeks or so. Some friends have even commented that the tone of my videos have changed, and that's because my head has changed. About 6 weeks ago, I started to feel a bit odd, and it was really unusual. It was like I could do everything in my personal life. You know, I had loads of drive to do the stuff I needed to do. There were chores to do. I had no problem doing them, etc. But when it came to work, again, I had the energy to do the things that I needed to do, the things that I planned to do, the things that I was already committed to do. But anything that I could do, speculative stuff, thought leadership type stuff, it's like my body just went, nah, not interested in that at the moment. And I really couldn't put my finger on it. And it was really frustrating because for me, losing drive is a very, very unusual thing. And one of the things that I've been doing, which has made a huge difference, which is basically some of the videos you have seen, is going outdoor swimming. Because I'm training for the Swim Serpentine, which is in 2 weekends' time. And the cold water atmosphere absolutely re-energizes you. It's amazing. You can feel completely rubbish in the afternoon, go for a cold water swim, and you get out and it's like being recharged in a heartbeat. It's brilliant. So that's one of the things I've been doing, and you'll have seen my posts that I've been doing around there, around the lake 32 down in South Cerney at the Cotswold Water Park. And that's been a real big thing, but there's still this underlying thing. And when I spoke to my parents, I said it's like losing your mojo. Yeah, but again, not in terms of your life, but in terms of what you're doing professionally, in terms of your work. So therefore, I didn't have any perception that it was depression in any way, because there wasn't this kind of hopelessness, etc. And so I was kind of left, and I did see something that somebody used this word frazzled, and I think I mentioned that in a previous video. And I thought maybe it's just that, but it was a bit vague still. And then last night, my wife handed me her phone and said, read that. And it was a New York Times article, which I will put a link to below because I think it's really fascinating. And it seems that this is quite a common thing, and somebody has put a name to it. And the name that they've put to it is languishing. Now, I won't go into too much detail here about what it is, because I think the article can do a far better job of explaining it than I can. But some of the things that it says in the article are things that I had already decided myself to do. Specifically, one of the things that I said to my wife yesterday, do you know what? I tend to plan out my days, and I give myself freedom to not do those things if my head's not in the right place. But I still keep everything in that day, so I might plan in 5 or 6 things during the day. And if I get up in the morning and just think, nah, I don't need to do those right now, I can leave that for another day, I'll move them all to the next day because I have the freedom to do that. But one of the things I thought to myself a couple of days ago before this article was shown me was to say, do you know what, I'm just going to focus on one thing. I'm just going to sit there and go, let's just assume I only have time for one thing in a day. What's the one small win that I can do? And that was the approach I was going to take. And what caught my eye as well was in this article was the fact that that was one of the suggestions that it made. And so that's the thing that I'm going to be doing. So if you are feeling this kind of, oh yeah, I just can't be bothered. You can do the things you must do, but there's no energy or kind of enthusiasm to do anything beyond that from a work point of view. You're not alone. Because one of the other things it said in the article was just putting a name on it can help. And I do believe that's true, because this morning a name was put on it, or last night a name was put on it. I went and searched on the internet. I actually had the enthusiasm to go, I'm going to go and look into that. And I went in there, and there's another article in the New York Times that talks about the inverse of languishing, which is called flourishing, and 7 steps as to how you can make a difference with it, how you can get back towards flourishing again, which is the opposite of languishing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a link to the first article today, and I'm also going to put a link to the second article, which are the steps that you can do as well. And what I'm going to suggest to you is that you just go and read it. If you're feeling this, if you're feeling a bit kind of, and you have been for a while, you are not alone. And just having a name on it seems to help. But also having a small focus, just something today, just complete one thing today and do another thing tomorrow and another thing the next day, and it'll all come back. So I just wanted to share that with you because I think it's really important, and that's something that I'm going to be looking into further. But I'd love to hear about anybody else who's been having these challenges, and any reflections that you have. That's it for now. Bit of a rambly one, bit of a long one, but it's been a bit of an odd 6 weeks. But I'd love to hear from you. So that's it for today. In the meantime, have a great day. Have a great week.